Excellent. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. We're here. We're back. We're back. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling. Loser Leaves Wrestling. We're doing it. We're doing it each and every week. You thought you'd stop us. You thought you'd stop us, but it's not true. It can't happen. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling. My name is Red Jefferson, and I'm here with Roy Hammer. Roy Hammer. How are we doing, Roy?
Hey, Red. Hey, doing well, pal. I'm trying to be a little Taz. And the bags. Yeah, you got to get the table through the middle rope. You got to bring it upside down. What do I know?
He was so upset. Okay, let's just talk. Okay, thank you all so much for joining. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling. Whoop.
That's myself.
In the back. Thank you all so much. Come and sit down. We just watched, I think, the weirdest episode of AEW Dynamite I've ever seen. I have never been so thrown off, and I don't think the crowd or the wrestlers were ever so thrown off. No one was shown tonight. No one. It was not anyone's best night at all.
Yeah. Okay.
There's definitely a peak, but it's not. It's more of a mound. We have to start talking about this. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling. This is the woo-woo-woos and what's. I've said that 3 times now, and I'm not gonna stop.
Hey, you know what? Next week, it's the real woo-woo-woo because they're going to be on Long Island. Zack Ryder's hometown. No, I don't think so. I think actually it's MJF's night.
Honestly, MJF is. Cardona's hot right now.
He is hot right now.
Sound off in the comments if you think Cardona is going to be hot next when they're in Long Island. But this has just been a weird night, a very weird night. Let's start it off. Let's just start talking about it.
Let's get into it.
Because we start off with Hangman. First, by the way, there's no JR tonight. Yeah. There's no JR tonight, and we wish him well. We don't wish him back, but we wish him well. Chica Marks writes, I love woo woo woo, and we all love woo woo woo. So we get no JR tonight, and we get Hangman joining commentary. Hangman comes out. I thought this was a good way of starting the show, and I was excited for it. And coming out, this is like a good way of like showing him off as champion, but not in a gratuitous way that you would a heel champion, you know?
Yeah, agreed. And I think AEW does the guest wrestler commentary thing very well. So this is a good example of that.
Because every wrestler there is a guest. Like every single match has a fourth or third person. Well, I like this look. It feels very, you're looking into the tunnel.
One day I'll Google how to use a ring light. But until that day comes,
I think we're both doing a really good job. I think everyone understands it. But we get the first match of the night: Bryan Danielson versus Alan Angels. Alan 5 Angels. And what did you think of the match? What did you think of it? It was.
Can I be really petty? I'm going to be really petty.
Let's get petty.
Look, I'm Jewish. It's Hanukkah. You know who else is Jewish? Colt Cabana. You know who had a longer match than Colt Cabana tonight? Alan Angels.
Sure.
That pissed me off.
That's short. No, I get that. Honestly, that's actually very unfortunate. And to be honest, TK, anti-Semitic. But the thing is, this match itself is it was kind of nothing. It was just like a nothing Bryan Danielson match. And Alan Angels, like it's just like the past few I've been kind of disappointed with, because I get that Bryan Danielson isn't going to have like a 4 or 5 star match with Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, and Alan Angels week after week after week. But boy, would I have liked more competitive matches with some of them. Not Alan Angels. I'd prefer it with Colt Cabana last week, because that was unfortunate. I think everyone was very upset about that. But Alan Angels, like it felt like kind of like nothing. It was fine. This is the only time I'm okay with the length and the format of the match, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree, it's a shame AEW doesn't do it that often, but I find it acceptable when they do it, because it doesn't happen very often, where you get 2 great wrestlers in the ring with one another and they don't deliver a great match because they're not given the time to do it, and they value the storyline over the match. Yeah. Sometimes you have to do that. And this is a situation where that is the case, because Danielson has to mow through these fucking guys in order to like get to Hangman. Although, like, how could you possibly build up Bryan Danielson's credibility any more than it's already built up?
Yeah, 100%. Having, which is interesting. We're going to talk about CM Punk in a little bit, but like, it felt like this should have been the first person that Bryan Danielson faced. Mm-hmm. Then Evil Uno, then Colt, then Johnny Hungry, which I'm excited about.
That's going to be different than these other matches. I think Hungry's really going to give him a run for his money. Yeah.
I really hope so, because I really think he needs it. Micah Stokes writes, CM Punk has too much ring rust. He needs to get his shit together.
We're going to talk about that.
I can't wait to talk to you about that, Micah.
We're going to talk about that.
Oh, Micah Stokes. Thank you so much, Micah. Bryan Danielson wins with a knee bar tap. He makes him tap, and then he does the flex, liking the flex stuff.
Love the flex.
I think we're all a fan of the flex stuff. So go woo 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 in there if you think the flex is good. But afterwards, we get Tony talking to Bryan. He starts saying things like, that's the best Atlanta's got, because they're in Alan Angel's hometown. Yeah. He graduated there. They said it several times.
It took him 6 years, according to Hangman.
6 years, according to Hangman.
Also, real quick, the graphics department is at it again. Did you see when Hangman got introduced?
No.
His graphic said unschooled in the art of barbecue, because he's taking Jim Ross's place.
That's very funny. Yeah. That's very funny. It's very clever. That's really good. Chica Marks writes, does he just need people to hurt now? That's an interesting turn. I kind of like the fact that he just I don't think it should be that cerebral with he's just a very competitive guy, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, sure.
He's very competitive, and he doesn't care. Actually, he does take trophies, so who knows?
Well, I think his whole thing is like, if you're gonna get in the ring with me, you're in my world now, so I'm gonna do whatever I want with you. Outside the ropes, whatever, I'm fine. But like inside the ropes, that's my world, and if you want to step into it with me, I'll kill you.
Yeah, I kind of like that. But we get that, and so we're gonna have John Silver versus Daniel Bryan coming up soon. Bryan Danielson, I can't do this. I can't do this Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan thing.
I just thought about, remember the Undertaker would always be like, this is my yard. You're in my yard. Sure. I think Bryan Danielson should start saying that the ring is his yard, and he's going to
I love that.
Because he likes planting.
Yeah.
He's a gardener.
I actually thought of a really great gimmick for Bryan Danielson, and I thought of it for me when I wanted to be a wrestler, is that I'd kick them out of the ring. I'd beat them up so bad, roll them out of the ring, and get the 10 count. Because they don't deserve to be beaten in my ring, and just get the 10 count each time. You pummel them to the outside, and you get the entire 10 count. And it doesn't kill the other person. You just did something so debilitating. You stuck a tag them, or you did something. You do a lot of things.
Especially in AEW, because there's no countouts.
Yeah.
So think about how impactful that would be.
Get some countouts.
That's great.
Moving on, we get Miro does a promo, and he's in a completely white room. He's in limbo. That's what I got out of it. I don't know anything he said.
Yeah. I don't know how I missed that, but I missed that.
Yeah. He was just completely right room. And he said the same things he's been saying. He's just like, and what am I? A coward? I'm the Redeemer or something. He says these things that are opposite and then forward. A lot of parables, a lot of wife talk. But we got to move on. Next up, we get what Micah Stokes was saying before. We get CM Punk versus Lee Moriarty, right? It's CM Punk versus Lee Moriarty. We get MJF coming out for commentary. And I'll say this right now, Royster. MJF is a bad commentator. Can we agree on this?
He had his moments here, but I think he's like a short bursts guy. He's like, I'm going to hit you with this line, and then you're going to give me something. I'm going to have something to say back. But when on commentary, there's not really, so he just has to keep going. Yeah. He needs to work on it. He needs to get more experience there.
But he was he was just burying both guys. And the thing is, I get that's his gimmick, is part of its gimmick, but even when you're on commentary, you just have to do it differently. You just can't just say, oh, you can't beat Lee Moriarty. You can't beat this up and comer, the guy that they want. He's a next generation guy. He's older than you.
Who's also looking great.
He looks good.
He looks great in this match.
Yeah. But CM Punk does not. CM Punk looked tired. It was true. He looked tired, and he looked out of breath through a lot of this.
Yeah. I wonder, Excalibur said that thing about a non-COVID upper respiratory infection. I wonder if that's actually true. I hope it is, but this was, and I thought about it, who's he fought? He fought Darby Allin. He fought Powerhouse Hobbs, Matt Sydal, and 4 other people. QT Marshall, but he's mostly fighting people who don't move as quickly who one, don't move as quickly as Lee Moriarty, and two, are more experienced than Lee Moriarty. But Powerhouse Hobbs is huge. So even if he isn't that experienced, you're wrestling a Powerhouse Hobbs match where he's just going to throw you around and you're the small guy. This is the first time that I think he's in the ring toe-to-toe with a young guy who only knows how to move fast. And you could tell that Punk was like, okay, I'm good. Just roll me over, and then I'll take a second. Like,
he had lead legs when he tried to pick him up a few times. He did not go up with him.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, CM Punk, he's smart. He's smart. He should know how to work around these things. Have him bouncing all around trying to get the upper hand, and you just outsmart him each time. That's all you do, is just get out of the way. You don't have to do a lot to prove that you're smarter than a fast guy. Just let the fast guy do the fast things and then just move out of the way.
Yeah.
That's all the time with puppy guys.
Right. Yeah. And that's certainly something he could have done. You know, I think he's still trying to get
appreciated the smart, the intelligence thing, rather than trying to compete with them, you know?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
He's just not that fast. And what you're saying about the sea legs, like ring rust?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still trying to figure out what his style is going to be moving forward. I think he's still trying to like understand, like, can I keep doing the things that I used to do? You know, he did that the top rope clothesline, and it didn't really feel like he like had his legs under him. Like he didn't fly the way he's supposed to. Like he just kind of landed. He landed on his knees. Yeah.
He just lunged at it because he needed to go fast. He's just like, as soon as he was up on that thing, because when he was about to do the springboard, I was just like, oh no, don't do it. You're so tired.
I had a few of those moments tonight.
Yeah, a lot of times, like when he did he grabbed him in a reverse suplex and lifted him onto his shoulders. I was like, you're not going to get it, Punk. You're not going to get it. But he did it. He did it each time.
But I had that like, oh no moment multiple times tonight throughout, which we'll talk about. There are a few where I was like, later on.
The end of the night, man. I can't wait to talk about it. We're having a lot of fun. Hashtag Cody's on fire. Hashtag Cody's on fire. We get that. MJF is bad in commentary afterwards. By the way, Punk wins with the turn into the GTS.
I thought it was a great finish. Great finish.
Really great finish. Sluggish.
Love Lee Moriarty. I can't say it enough. I think he's great. I think he's maybe the rookie of the year in AEW, either him or Jade Cargill, which they bring up.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Jimmy Wang Yang. He has kind of like he kind of moves like him. I don't know, just something about it.
Have you seen the footage of that fan trucking Seth Rollins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end, after the fan's gone or the fan's being pulled away, the agents come out, and one of them's Jimmy Wang Yang. And he's got his ponytail, and he's like, what happened here? What's going on? He's not driving his party bus anymore.
I would love to see him in another match. They have to bring him back. He'll be in a gimmick battle royale in 30-38.
I realized that there's probably no correlation, but I just looked down at my phone that has the stream on it, and right after we brought up Jimmy Wang Yang, someone left. They're like, "We're good."
They're over it.
Yeah.
I think of that. I'm looking at that counter, and then every now and then, just like, "Oh, we talked about Jeff Jarrett brought in 2 people." It doesn't work like that, Red. It doesn't work like that. But after the match, after we get the CM Punk win, MJF comes out and says some pretty tasteless things about Britt Baker.
I hated that.
I hated it so much. I feel like on a show, and we're going to get to some of it, where there's a total lack of female representation on the show. And and not only that, but when they are mentioned in out-of-box context, it's CM Punk saying, oh, look, a girl's better than you, or MJF saying a sexual comment about a girl. You know, like the time Britt Baker has been mentioned, even though I've enjoyed it from CM Punk, it's still a little patronizing.
100%. Yeah, especially what MJF said tonight. And this is like, there's 2 issues with it, right? There's the like human being, like disrespectful part.
Human being bad.
Yes. Yeah. But then there's also the wrestling aspect of it. Like, why? Like, Britt Baker is your top women's wrestler. You've built her from the bottom to the top. She's your champion. She gets the biggest reactions. She's the best on the microphone. She's one of the best in the ring that you've got. Why is anyone talking about her? And why is it that, which we'll get to, like, after the segment, they go to a backstage interview with Britt Baker, and she doesn't even bring it up. She doesn't even reference it. So she just lets this guy say shit about her.
Because that was pre-taped.
Yeah, because you didn't hear
That's the issue. Because the thing is, she doesn't even get a live segment. And she's recently she's been constantly mentioned, and it's been in a derogatory or belittling way. And you know what? Maybe it goes to show, like when we were talking about on the Weekly Wrestle, that we were talking about how TBS or TNT wasn't the ones trying to downplay women's wrestling. There's some rumors that they were trying to say, oh, we don't want women fighting on our channel or something along those lines. But it's just Tony doesn't care. Tony doesn't care. And he's not, and him trying to be like, oh, the women's revolution, and him kind of trying to take credit. He's like, AEW doesn't get enough credit. Where have you earned it?
Where is Serena Deeb?
Where's the beef?
No. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. And I was thinking about that too. He has these pet projects, right? And we all do. Like when we're in charge of something or whatever it is, there's certain things that we care about, like certain shows or whatever. Britt Baker is that for him. Like she was the first woman they ever signed. She was going to be the face of the division, et cetera. So he's continued to put effort and time into Britt Baker because he decided before the company even officially launched that like she was going to be it.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all you got. And it's frustrating because there's so much talent on this roster, as we'll talk about a little later with this match that they had. But we'll get into that later.
Then we get MJF CM Punk getting needle dick chanted for MJF, which I'm fine with. Sure. And we get MJF threatening Punk's dog. Cool. I
didn't like the dog part. The only part that MJF said that I really liked is when he called him a dipshit. Not because he said the word dipshit, but because he said it with such anger and he said it so quickly. Like it wasn't like quippy or smart or like ha 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 like a dig. He was just like, I'm gonna kill you. Like it was genuine and it was anger in that moment.
I'm not mad at Punk's reaction as much as I am just like I feel like you could have cut last week's segment in half and brought some of that into this, and then it would have been just as fine without having to go to the dog thing. I just there's a lot.
It's a low blow. It's unnecessary.
Moving on, right after that, we get Tony talking with Britt, like you mentioned, right after, which really was a bad look because it just made her look bad that she didn't respond because it was a pre-taped segment where she's just talking about how she hates Rio. She hates Rio.
Yeah. Sure.
That's fair. And then Jamie versus Rio next week. Jamie Hayter versus Rio, which honestly should be a snooze fest. It should be a real garbage fire. Honestly, don't like Rio.
I know you said that.
Don't like Rio.
Jamie Hayter was good in her last match, and we'll see. We'll see what their chemistry's like. Rio is good against opponents who are really big and really strong, and that's Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter's going to throw Rio around like a football, and then Rio's going to beat Jamie Hayter, and then Jamie Hayter's going to beat up Britt Baker.
Rio moves around like Beaker from the Muppets. She can't hang. She just can't hang. Moving on. Adam Cole does his entrance for no reason.
Yeah.
Adam Cole comes out, does his entrance, goes to commentary, out comes Orange Cassidy, and then they just beat up Orange Cassidy. And then Young Bucks come out and beat up, and they do this stupid thing. That could have been a woman's match or a woman's segment. This was 10 minutes long.
Yeah, it could have been 5 minutes. He didn't need to walk all the way down to the ring and do the thing. Well, he was going to be, I guess he was only going to be on commentary to set up an Orange Cassidy versus Adam Cole match, which will be good. But I agree. I could have used a deep segment there for sure.
That could have been a deep segment.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, that actually really hurts thinking that Dean could have been there. Tony, boom! A lot of booking I would have done different tonight. You're damn right, Tony.
We're talking about it, Tony.
Damn right. We're talking about it. We're real upset. We're real Cornish about it. Is that a thing, Cornish?
Did you see the sign in the front row for Jim Cornette?
No. What? Don't
I think it says Jim Cornette loves Sprite. That's what it says.
Boom! That's right, Tony. That's right, Tony. Okay, so we get Adam Cole. They do the low blow, and the best friends come out, and then they help him out. And
just take the best friends off television until Trent comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Although we'll get to it. No, I don't think this was in this show. I watched the hype video that they do before the show, and Chuck was like kind of giving a pep talk to Chris Statlander, and he had like a towel around his neck. And I was like, he looks like a high school basketball coach. So maybe that should be his new gimmick, is that he
Who's
just
this?
hypes people up.
Chuck Taylor?
Chuck Taylor, yeah.
Yeah. No, Billy Gunn should be the gym coach. He's looking more and more like Gym Dad every day. He looks like Tim Storm. He straight up look like Tim Storm now. Is that crazy?
Yeah. Drop my lights
out. Tony writes, why did Cole not come out to defend his woman?
Why?
No, because he made a comment to Tony. He's just like he's angry at Tony, and I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I don't like her being used as a pawn in this way. But moving on, we get Tony Nese saying things, and all I could think is I miss Damian Sandow.
Why? Why Damian Sandow?
Because he looks like half a Damian Sandow, like half everything. He's better. He's like, I don't know, better wrestler. He's a more athletic wrestler than Damian. Definitely more athletic. But I like Damian Sandow. Wouldn't that be great if we got a Damian Sandow? You don't care.
I like Damian Sandow. I think what?
You know what you do? Oh my God. You know what you do? You get Damian Sandow to come out and help Cody Rhodes and reunite the Rhodes Scholars.
That'll get him cheered.
Yeah, honestly, that might.
I think that the biggest, the worst thing that WWE never did, or I don't know, when they broke up The Miz and Damian Sandow and Cody and Goldust at the same time, and then both of them never had real feuds. Like they just let that all wash away.
And now AEW is here to pick up the pieces. You almost got them all. Gotta keep trying. Get the Miz, and that's it. Tony writes, you got Cole on one side, CM Punk on the other, MJF stuck in the middle. What is that in reference to?
Yeah, all the shit everybody's talking about Britt Baker.
Oh yeah, it's real dumb. Tony then says Nese already does better promos than Sammy, and that's true.
True.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean he's doing good promos necessarily.
Still look good. Next up, we get Wardlow versus something Adams.
I'm into this idea of Wardlow just powerbombing the fuck out of people. I think it's fun.
I like it too. I like this as a gimmick. Put it on Dark.
Well, it gives me very much like WWF Superstars in the early 90s vibes.
Yeah. I like that. I do like that. I just wish it wasn't the same thing each time.
Sure. I think they're building him up just so he can lose to Punk in a couple of weeks, which is a bummer, but let him hit some power bombs and then eventually turn on Sean Spears.
That's interesting. Or do you think Wardlow's going to go over?
That would be great. I don't think so, but that would be great.
That's interesting. Actually, I didn't think about the Wardlow going. I thought it was going to be Wardlow turning on MJF soon.
I think they're going to fight. I think Wardlow's going to fight Punk. Wardlow's going to lose to Punk, and then MJF's going to like push, or Spears is going to push him, and then he's going to just crush Spears, and then he's going to break out on his own. Because you saw like Spears came with the chair afterwards and beat the shit out of that guy, and the look on Wardlow's face was he was not happy about it. So
he was not happy about it. I actually like Sean Spears a lot, but I have to.
He's a very good professional wrestler.
He's a very good wrestler. I love his whole attitude. Moving on though, we get this crazy Spears chair attack. Then we get Tony again with death. Well, 2/3 of Death Triangle, Death Line, if you will. And they've got Penta saying things, and then that guy behind them saying what he says. And
I have two takeaways from this.
What?
One is AEW loves eye patches. He's literally the third wrestler to wear an eye patch since the company launched.
Honestly, they've been doing a good job with picking who gets these eye patches because it makes a lot of sense. Of course, Moxley would have an eye patch. Yeah. Of course, Pac would have an eye patch. Pac looks good in an eye patch. Who else is it? Was there another one?
Yes, Santana. Or was it? Yeah, Santana. Moxley took his eye out.
Oh, sure.
I also loved when Tony was like, Pac, are you going to be able to wrestle this Friday? And Pac just goes, am I an invalid?
Great job, Pac. Great job, Pac.
Great job.
Excellent work.
Pac's doing good work out there.
You know what? Next week at the match I was honestly kind of looking forward to. I was kind of looking forward to it. We get the Gun Club versus Sting and Darby, and out comes Sting and Darby with their face paint.
Oh, I loved it.
Really cool.
Did you not love it?
No, I liked it. Danhausen hated it.
Is that true?
And no, I don't know. It just looked eerily similar. New gimmick, Pat the Pirate.
Back the Pirate.
Chica Marks writes, they do rock their eye patches. I honestly think it's one of the best things that AEW does too much. Taz snuck in on commentary for this one, by the way. Snuck in on commentary. Hobbs and Hook are standing behind him. And out comes Sting and Darby. And they face the
Ass Boys.
The Ass Boys, Colton and Billy Ass. And Colton, like, it looks like he moves around the ring like Honky Tonk Man. Like he's like flailing his arms about, like he's very cartoonish. And he honestly, like, he's not TV ready. Like Austin is TV ready.
Yeah, it should have been Austin.
Colton's not there yet.
Yeah, this like is one of those things where I was like, oh, that's gonna be funny. Like, oh, the Gun Club versus Sting and Darby. That's hilarious. It'll be a good time. And then the bell rang, and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is bad.
Like, yeah, it was because Colton,
it was boring.
Colton's not ready for it, so they worked a real slow thing for Colton.
Yeah,
and Billy, I think, was super. Billy could do better than this. Billy is better than this. He knows how to have a fun match where he's like the joke. He knows how to do that. But what happened?
Doesn't
he got
want
distracted.
To be the joke.
He got distracted.
By what?
By his son flubbering around, flapping around like a freaking.
There is one point where Billy got Darby in the corner and he went to go tag Colton, but Colton was like just staring at the crowd. So Billy just slapped him in the arm. Let's go.
Yeah, he was pissed.
My big takeaway from this match, two things. One, I still am like a little kid every time Sting does the death drop. I'm just like a kid. I get
and he does it good.
He still does it so well. And every time he like pounds his chest and gets pumped up, a part of me just feels relief because I'm like, you're okay. You're doing it. You're all right. And then speaking of not being okay, fucking Darby does that fucking dive. He does the first suicide dive onto Dummo, whoever it was, and just lands on his neck. Like just lands on his neck.
And busted his head.
Yeah.
And busted the top of his head open for a Billy Gunn match.
Yeah, I know. And then the other, I couldn't believe he recovered from that. No one could believe like, go back and watch it because literally he's like on his head. It's terrifying. Yeah. And then he gets back in the ring somehow and then does the middle rope. I love that he did the middle rope because Billy Gunn's so tall that he's like, if I go under the bottom, I'm going to hit his legs and I'm going to get hurt. So he goes over the middle and Billy Gunn is such a fucking tank.
Yeah.
That Darby literally bounces off of him.
Yeah.
He goes down, but he's up for a second and he bounces off of Billy Gunn's chest and spins and hits the ground. Insane.
It's nuts. Billy Gunn, I still enjoy his presence around. I think it should be more managerial for his sons, but I think it should be more managerial for Austin. Austin is money.
Where the money is.
Austin is where the money is. Tony writes, this win does nothing for Sting and Darby. Why not let Gunn win? Because it's Gunn. We need some Gunn control.
Tony, do you want to see more Gunn on television?
No.
I don't.
No. Unless it's actually, I don't mind the three of them and they're being silly and goofy.
Yeah, but that bad guy Billy Gunn.
Yeah, they should be silly, but silly like goofy 60. As in like dumb, bad, silly goofy. They should be heel silly goofy, flubbing around backstage. Like Colton slip on some olive oil or something. Like,
I think Austin Gunn would be great at interrupting people and doing dumb voices and making fun of people.
I haven't really heard him talk. I've only heard him rap.
I heard him say, "I like turtles" to Darby Allin.
That was
Darby
really
almost
good.
Broke. Yeah.
That was really good. Okay, moving on. We get the death drop onto Colton, get the win. Then we go into the back. Jericho gets beaten down by 2.0. And the lesser 2.0 member, I don't know their name, really sucks at those backstage punches.
Which one?
It was like
not the ponytail or the short hair.
Short hair sucks.
Yeah.
Short hair sucks. And that was kind of embarrassing because it felt like Dark Order doing that beat down in the beginning of AEW when they're like the punches weren't connecting. It looked bad. And
well, Daniel Garcia also, he makes better contact, but he's so weird. His body is so weird. He does this. I'm going to do it again. He's like, He hits it's so weird.
You know, a barrel full of monkeys.
The game.
No, the figurines. Yeah. That reminds me of Daniel Garcia. Those monkeys. His arms are always like this.
Yeah, his arms are never relaxed and at his side. No, he's never relaxed. He's always ready for a fight.
Yeah, very good. We're doing a lot of great stuff today. I think. I hope you're all noticing. But we get that. Then Taz. We return to Taz and commentary, and his boys are still standing there. Hobbs and Hook never left. They're so tired. They're standing there the entire time. Blathers about math in the diamond ring or something. He blathers.
Wait, hold on a second. Time out. Hold on. We got to backtrack for a second.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how do you where do you think this 2.0 Jericho thing is going? Do you think it's leading to an Eddie Jericho match at some point, or do you think it's leading to an Eddie Jericho 2.0 and that's that?
Honestly, I would love an Eddie Jericho match. Actually, that seems like a good flow for Eddie. That'd be a good win for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he has to win.
And that's the type of people that on Chris Jericho's flight down, he shouldn't be taking stops at people that are above him, Eddie and Kingston is on the rise up and they're connecting right now. They're intersecting. Let them intersect. Micah Stokes. I'd love to see the New Age Outlaws join AEW and form a faction with the Guns. What?
Interesting.
But no, that can't happen because Jeff Jarrett and Conrad Thompson are going to go to the NWA, and that's where BG James is going to go.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. If BG James became the executive producer of that, because that's what he's doing now, right? He's doing
he stepped down.
Producing. He stepped down. Because he had heart problems.
He was having. I think he had. He stepped down first, and then he had heart problems. Something along those lines. But he stepped down to save his sanity. He should go to a place where he's less worked and better paid.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Better appreciated.
I like Road Dogg, and honestly, if Road Dogg was in the stable, in the Gun Club, I would love it.
It'd be so much better.
It'd be so much better. So much better. Great thought, Micah. Thank you so much for joining. Moving on. So Taz is there. Taz is here.
Right.
And he's doing a lot of Taz things. He's doing math. He's like, we got a quarter chance of winning this thing. We got 3 people. And I forgot that Dante was in it. I'm like, is this Hook's debut? You're not going to put him in a fucking battle royale for his debut. But no, it's Dante. They got a quarter chance. So it's a 100% chance of us winning. But you know who doesn't like that math? Leo Rush. Leo Rush comes out to no fanfare. No one cheers. And he has to beg them to. He's like, everyone's been doubting me my entire life. And then Taz just interrupts him. He's like, yeah, fair point. You don't need to say that, Taz. You don't need to interrupt his flow.
He was saying, well, that's the thing that I didn't like. So he said, you can relate to me because people doubted you. And he's like, yeah, you're right, Dan. You're right. But then he starts talking, Leo keeps going. Yeah, hey, Taz, this is all scripted, pal. Take it easy.
Tony has a good thought. Tony says Taz needs an eye patch. Taz does need an eye patch. Very interesting point, Tony. Very interesting point. Honestly, that makes all of these make sense. All their choices so far have made sense. So then Leo comes out and then they have the stare down. Also, this entire segment, not needed. This could have been they could have had a really solid women's match. They could have had a 15-minute women's match with all the Jericho, the Team Taz, and the Adam Cole Orange Cassidy thing. There could have been a solid match in that, and you could have had all this stuff in here for the sake of a minute from pre-tapes.
I agree. I just think there needed to be follow-up in some way, shape, or form to the Leo Rush Dante thing from last week. There needed to be some kind of follow-up to it. I don't think this was very good. I don't think this was good follow-up. They could have done a pre-tape for this and put a women's match in the ring. Yeah. That would have been fine. I still think this is a swerve. Also, I think Dante and Leo are still together in some way. They're in cahoots to piss off Team Taz or something like that. But we'll see.
I hope so. Honestly. And that'd actually be pretty good. That actually is a great point. Excellent point, Royster. Everyone sound off what you think about that. Do you think it's a swerve? Moving on, we get Smart Mark and Jade Cargill. They're talking, and then Thunder Rosa comes out and she does some talking. And they're all talking at one point. And apparently she's going to be commentating she's replacing Chris Jericho on Rampage in the commentary booth for Jade's match. So we're going to hear her more.
Which is good. I feel good about that.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say she walked in on that backstage promo, and you could hear the audience react to Thunder Rosa.
Yeah,
she is on the same level as Britt Baker right now in terms of crowd reaction.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think she is but the thing is, they're drowning her. They're drowning her entirely by only keeping her in pre-tapes, by not letting her have all her and Jade Cargill have are pre-tapes for the most part. That's all they've been doing. I haven't seen Layla Hirsch on TV in months. I haven't seen Ty Conte is already gone.
Where's
Ty Conte had her match. She's on dark. She's moved down.
She's being circled
fallen from grace.
Out. Yeah. I will say also she's gonna fight Jade Cargill. I'm excited for you to watch this match. Because Jade Cargill is gonna fight Janai Kai.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And she is she's green. She's a newer wrestler, but she wrestles like barefoot and she'll kick your head off. So that's
exciting.
Cool. Yeah.
So we're gonna see two really green people kill each other. Very good. Tony writes, they need to let Dante talk. See, sometimes you're on point with Taz needing an eye patch, and then you're so off by saying Dante needs to talk.
I'd like to know why. Why do you put him with Taz or Leo
tell us
so he
why.
doesn't have to talk?
Yeah, tell us why Dante needs to talk. No one thinks that. You're crazy. Tony, I love you. Tony, I love you. Moving on, we got Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. And what I like to call it is it's a tale of two matches. Before the commercial break, before the commercial break and after the commercial break. Before the commercial break, it was bad.
No.
It was clunky. It was messy. It was sloppy. Neither one were working to their best interests. And I think I realized something about Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander. Wait, tell me what you think.
Please enlighten us.
Okay. So they both are very capable with one aspect of, not one aspect, but they have a strong character and style, but they try to do too much. Like Ruby Soho is an amazing underdog when she's fighting from underneath and she makes her fiery comebacks. She has a great look. She looks great all the way until she comes to the ring. But then when she comes to the ring, she tries to be a technical wrestler or someone that could hang in the beginning with mat wrestling, or she's someone that will surprise you with stiff strikes. And I think that Statlander is someone that's a brawler. Statlander's a brawler and a powerhouse. When she tries to do mat wrestling or tries to do things that are fast or quick, she kind of loses it a little bit. This should have been a fight. But it felt like that after the commercial break, but it should have started off them brawling. That would have been a great match. That's what I was thinking in my head. But the second half, they really got into it. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the picks I did?
I was okay with the first half. I liked that there was respect between the two of them. I always love when the wrestlers respect each other and they're like, I could get you, but I'm not going to get you because we respect each other. And I liked that there was a little grappling, a little who's trying to get the upper hand, who's trying to get the upper hand. But I just felt like this match built really well. And like you were saying, I agree as far as after the commercial break, it became a brawl, but they needed to get there first. And they got there because there's no bad blood between the two of them. If they just start beating the shit out of each other, yeah, that's fine. That's entertaining, but that's not really, that story doesn't make a lot of sense. So I like that they built that way. I loved the finish to it. I thought Ruby Soho selling the kick out the way she did was a little much. It was a little much.
A lot.
It's there's a lot going on there. But that's also, she hit what is probably my favorite movie.
Felt like Peter Avalon.
The on the knees Hurricane Rana face plant is my favorite move in professional wrestling. It's never done. Nobody ever does it. When it's done, it's logical. It makes sense. And it made a lot of sense there. And it was great.
I thought the second half of the match was great. I just think there's some disconnect there. I thought it started off clunky. I wrote a lot of things here. I wrote a lot about the next match, but we'll talk about that soon. But we get a roll-up win. We get a roll-up win with Ruby Soho advancing. Then Vicky comes out to confront Statlander as she's leaving, but Nyla Rose attacks Ruby Soho. And there's probably going to be a fun thing there.
That's the next match. That's in the tournament. Now the semis are Thunder Rosa, Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander.
We're excited. I'm excited for those things. Hopefully they're good. I'm excited for them.
Very curious.
I'm excited for Ruby Soho to be in a match against Nyla Rose because that's when Ruby Soho is their best. fighting from underneath.
That's what I realized in this match too, is like the intensity was ratcheted up. It was ratcheted up or whatever.
Ratchet up.
Was heightened after the commercial break, but also after the commercial break, they both slotted into their roles of like Chris Statlander is bigger and stronger, and Ruby is the underdog.
Yeah.
And that's where Ruby's at her best, is when she's the underdog. Absolutely.
We got some comments here. Chica Marks writes, also true about the women. I'm sick of wondering where they are. Exactly. Thank you so much, Chica Marks. We appreciate you. Micah says, Jamie Hayter needs to turn face down the line. She would be better on her own. Maybe, but we really haven't seen the best of Jamie Hayter yet, have we? I don't even know what she'd be good as in any sense.
You never know. She could. I mean, I think at this point you sacrifice her face turn for Britt Baker's face turn.
You know what you do? Switch her out for Layla Hirsch. Put her on dark. Have Layla be Britt's muscle. Have Layla be Britt's muscle.
So fun. That's so fun. I like
that. That's who you have as like this person that'll just like rip your toes out. Like
we have so many good ideas for Layla Hirsch.
Oh my God.
Her joining Team Taz or her joining Britt Baker. Yeah, come on.
Jesus Christ. It writes itself.
Yeah.
John Woodmass, welcome to the chat. Are you the same person talking to yourself in a parallel dimension? It kind of looks like that, right? It's fun. You should see his brother. He looks like our baby. It does. He looks like our baby. Tony writes, he needs to build his promos. How can he grow if they don't even let him improve? You're talking about
he'll build.
Put him on commentary on Elevation. He'll learn the hard way by doing it next to Big Show and Mark Henry. Yikes. If anyone watches Dark Elevation, Excalibur this week had a hard time. Had a really hard time. Eddie Kingston was in there too. It was just a mess. Moving on, we get the main event of the evening, Royster. And this might be the biggest main event we've ever had to cover. This is probably one of I will remember this match for a long time. It was snake bit from the get-go. Not a single thing I think went like it just went weirdly wrong and right at certain parts. What are your thoughts? Your overall thoughts on it?
Man,
it's Cody Rhodes versus Andrade El Idolo.
I think Andrade's fantastic. I think this match existed and got off the ground because of Andrade. I think Cody
it was a cooperative.
Yeah, but I think Cody knew what the finish was, and he was distracted the whole match thinking about that finish.
There was times in this match. Well, let's just talk about it from the get-go. T-Pain is ringside. T-Pain is ringside, everyone.
Because even though Cody's focused on wrestling again, and he doesn't care about all that outside stuff,
the Hollywood stuff,
his celebrity buddy is sitting in the front row.
But T-Pain is a big Atlanta. I think he's an Atlanta guy.
Sure.
And I think that's what, it got a cheap pop. But Andrade is dressed like low key, which upset me because that's low key's thing. Low key looks like an undercover cop, and I like that. Looks like a cop. I really love it. Low key has to make an appearance eventually.
Low key's the worst.
I really feel like booze at Cody getting booed at Atlanta is in his brain his last straw. If he gets booed in Atlanta, but when he comes out, he gets a mixed reaction.
Yeah.
Gets a mixed reaction coming out. And as he's out, Arn's up there. Arn gets knocked off the stage. Did you see this?
I saw him. I maybe I missed that because I saw him beating up Jose.
Right before that, Arn took a huge spill, falling off the stage flat onto his back. And it was hard. It looked bad. I don't know how far he fell, but it was he just fell. He just fell. And then the guy, whoever that guy's name, Jose jumped down and check on him. Oh my God. And then they started fighting each other and went away. But immediately that. And then they start brawling in the crowd. And I'm like, oh, smart. The crowd's into this. They like the action. It's in the crowd. Cody's this is how you get someone on your side, is by doing something different than they wouldn't expect, right? You're having a brawl. You're in the crowd, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Things are going well for Cody at this point, right? The match wasn't bad up until now.
No.
Just distracting with Arn. Poor Arn. Jake Marks writes, his back was distracting, but then I realized it was burned from practice or flame retardant. No, was that flame retardant? No,
it was flame retardant.
No, it wasn't. Really?
We'll get into it. Let's keep going.
I thought it was sawdust.
I honestly thought he like fell asleep on the beach and his back was peeling. That's what I thought.
It looked like that.
And I was like, why don't you just wear a shirt?
He looked like a big chicken and he was losing his feathers.
Andrade wore a shirt for most of the match, and then he took it off later, and he had some of that gimmick on his back too.
Interesting. We're gonna have to find out more about that. I did not. I thought it was just sawdust, and I was just like, "Oh no!" He looked like he was molting.
It looked like someone had taken Elmer's glue and sprayed it all over his back, and that's what Taz said. Taz like, "What's on his back? It looks like he rolled in a pile of goo." He said.
He did look like he was rolling in a pile of goo. Excellent job, Taz. But then this is when it goes bad, and this is honestly when the turn of the match happened. He hugs T-Pain. The minute he hugged T-Pain, everything changed because the crowd, like there was some people that were weird about it because he had people cheering for him up until this point. He was being cheered.
Let's go Cody chants.
There was Let's Go Cody chants, and he was being loved when he was out in the crowd. And this is what happened. Andrade takes off his belt, starts whipping Cody, throws the belt into the crowd, and everyone in the crowd and Cody in his head was thinking they're going to throw the belt back. Because then it would be even. Then it would take away from the fact that Cody got the belt thrown back. Like it would lessen it. It's just like, oh, it's something that happens. You throw the belt back, they're gonna throw it back. No more throwing belts. But that's what they did. They were expecting to throw it back. But the crowd was chanting, throw it back. And the fan didn't want to do it because they just didn't want to disrespect Andrade like that. You don't disrespect Andrade, you disrespect Cody. And that got into Cody's head because I think that was going to be later on in the match. They were going to use that belt again.
Yeah, sure.
I think they planned on it, and I think from that point on, Cody was lost. Did you see? What are your thoughts on that moment?
I'm with you on this theory. It felt very clunky, and it felt like I don't know, man. I don't know that they were like that low blow that happened when Cody low blowed like Andrade, and for like a split second, you saw the heel come out in Cody. You saw it in his face, and you're like, "Here it comes." But then he was like, he started trying to play to the crowd. And the crowd booed the shit out of him.
As soon as he kicked him in the nuts, he did this evil little smile, like he's being a bad boy. He's being a bad boy. Then there was Cody starts bleeding because he was punched in the head with a chain and kicked out immediately. He goes under the ring, pulls out a kendo stick. Crowd's like, "Oh, we've seen that." Okay, he throws it away. Goes under the ring. Pulls out a sledgehammer, and everyone's just like, "Oh, I see what you're doing here. Your constant references to Triple H and all these things." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So you go for that, throws away. Then pulls out the least interesting option. I don't know.
Golden shovel.
The golden shovel. What is that a reference to?
Burying people.
Yeah, but
like burying in wrestling, like making people look bad, burying them. But that's
like, was that ever shown in wrestling?
I was trying to think about like what that's a reference to. I'm not actually sure what that's a reference to. Tony, I feel like you'd probably know.
Yeah, Tony, let us know if any of you are listening what the golden shovel's a reference to, because I get the burying thing, but I'm also just like, that's just stupid to have in a match.
It's weird.
Why are you having that joke inside of a match? That's a joke. You're doing a joke.
Well, I mean, it's still a shovel.
Yeah, but like you're doing it for a joke. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just silly. Then out comes Jose with a taser.
Hey, can I just say, and Jose without a shirt on,
he looks good.
Show.
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
Pretty good. Let's all get your hot takes on Jose's hot bod.
Yeah, he's got a hot bod.
He has a real hot bod.
Oh, I do think it's funny.
But he comes out with a taser.
Like, he takes the shovel out, and then you hear the noise of the taser before you cut to Jose. So you're like, "Where's that noise? What is that?" And then Jose's just running full speed with a taser in his hand.
Arn ripped off his shirt, and he found a taser and comes running out. And then there's just so many bad things because then they get back in the ring, and Andrade lost it too. They just lost all chemistry. And he goes into the corner and he tries to put the chair up against Cody's face. He tries to put the chair up against Cody's face and wedge it in between the ropes, but Cody's body's so thick he can't really do that. So Cody just holds the chair. Literally, like if you watch it again, holds the chair in place to get this thing done. Sorry, I didn't mean to cover the mic, but to get this thing done, and it was just so distracting.
Well, he crushed his face. He really crushed him.
Yeah, but he was holding it there. That doesn't make sense to me. Oh, we have some comments here that I've been ignoring. Micah Stokes writes, Dynamite in New Jersey will be so bizarro land. We'll have MJF and Team Taz's faces. Everyone will cheer for them. I don't think anyone's cheered for Team Taz. And Micah then writes, the golden shovel is a term used in IW, the internet wrestling community, as to say when Triple H buried people.
I didn't know
I didn't know the golden shovel is a term. Maybe I think Triple H may have used it one time. And that makes more sense, which is more fun. But then tables are used, and Taz hates how Andrade brings him into the ring. He's just like, he's doing it wrong. It's going to piss him off in a second. You'll see. He's like, can't do it. He's going to stick out there.
Again, I mean, you know what this felt like? This felt like a midnight comedy show. You go to a midnight comedy show and it's just a mess, but it's a good time. It's a big old mess. Everybody's having fun. Nobody's doing their best work, but everybody's along for the ride.
Man, and we had the funniest moment of the night at the end, because they pull out the table and they're on the top rope, and him and Cody and Andrade are struggling up there. Who's going to fall off? Who's going to fight? So Cody gets him on there. He's behind him on the ropes, and who comes in the ring with a hoodie and a face mask on? And everyone's just like, what? Everyone knows immediately who it is. Everyone sees the hair underneath the mask. Everyone knows, and takes out the mask. Booze.
Did she get booed?
Yeah, she got booed.
I don't know. I got confused because as soon as that table went up in flames, people started cheering. So
they booed when they saw her. She does the thing with the lighter fluid and get that going. But I think everyone smelled for what this was. This was just a desperate plea throughout the night to get the crowd on their side. Desperate plea at the entire match, from top to bottom, from the brawling around inside the ring, throwing the belt, tugging T-Pain, using the fire, the golden shovel. Everything was designed to have people cheer Cody, and I don't think it worked. He does a move. He does a reverse suplex, which he completely lands on the table. Andrade doesn't hit the table at all. Never touches the table. Cody is on fire. Cody is lit aflame.
I will say, too, Andrade is so fucking good because early in the match, he lifts up the ring apron. He's looking around. He pulls out a table. The audience cheers. What's he do? Pushes it back and says, fuck you to the audience. So the rest of the match, the audience is like, we want tables, bring us tables. We want tables, to just build up that fire spot even more. It's batshit crazy that there is a wrestling promotion that has a weekly television show on Turner Network Television that has had a flaming table, light tubes, panes of glass. Everyone is bleeding. Women are bleeding. That's never been done before. It's batshit crazy that this exists.
Yeah, I don't want to congratulate them on this. It was just I feel like it was bad.
I don't like the flaming table spot.
The entire match, no, not the entire match. The first 5 to 10 minutes were fine. The next 10 minutes were
until
bad.
T-Pain got involved.
Until T-Pain. Honestly, T-Pain ruined this night for me. He ruined wrestling for me tonight. She lights the table, still gets booed. He covers Andrade. He's still on fire. Andrade, a little ember falls on Andrade. He starts turning it out, and then puts on his shoulder.
I was going to say, like, he pins him. And I think one of the announcers says, like, Cody's on fire. Cody's on fire. I
think it was Taz.
And then Andrade's like, oh, shit, my friend. Yeah. I got to put him out, you know?
Yeah. It was a rough night. I can't wait to see what the reaction is to Brandy on this show, because it was very funny to me. This felt like the most tone-deaf match. It felt tone-deaf. Yeah, and I said we've said this about Cody a lot before, but like I think this is like the ultimate. Like I keep thinking, like this is what's great about this, because I think I'm being worked, but I'm not sure at all. You know, that's the great part about this Cody right now. Cody's one of my favorite things to watch right now because I'm not sure if I'm being worked.
Yeah,
he's doing an amazing job.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all,
man. So you're all for this match. You thought this was a great match.
I'm going to go back and watch it after. I don't think it's 5 stars by any means. But I think it's fun. I like car crashes. I do. You know, the era of wrestling that we grew up in, like the late 90s and the early 2000s, the WWE would have car crash matches that, like, in retrospect, weren't good. Well, some of them were, but I'm into it. You know, I'm into it because it's just fun. It's a car crash.
I'm not saying. One of what the thing is. It's not even about the spots in the match necessarily. It's just everything around it. The like I said, T-Pain, Golden Shovel, fire table. And I don't mind a fire table, but the reason it was used was specifically so people could be like, Cody's going through a fire table. Like, it's like, oh, Cody's going to use a fire table. Like, it's just fully screaming, help me, love me.
I know.
Love me so much.
Yeah. But, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Do you know the last time a fire table was used in a major wrestling promotion?
It's Foley versus Edge.
It was actually at Extreme Rules 2014 when the person now known as Bryan Danielson wrestled Kane.
Oh, I think
he put Kane through a flaming table.
Was that his last match before he was taken away from the neck injury? Very interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Tony writes, I wanted Malachi to come out. Malachi would have been fine. One thing I could say good about this night is because of the eye patch that Pac wore, because Black Mist is blinding.
Yeah.
Black Mist is blinding. Purple is paralyzing. Green, I forget what it does. It's disorienting. It's disorienting. Sticky. Is it sticky? Might be sticky. And red is something else. I forget. But they all have different things. But black should be the most devastating and should be seldom used.
Yeah.
Honestly, not like I should be doing. But a very interesting thought, Tony. Are we excited for wrestling coming up? What's happening?
So this week, Rampage is going to be Jade versus Janai Kai.
Okay.
Sammy versus Tony Nese.
Okay.
And the FTR versus Pac and Penta. A 2 out of 3 falls match.
Man, I was about to make a really good joke about them that night. I was gonna be like, feels like a real Iowa night. It's a flyover match. Flyover show.
No, come on, it's a good show. It's gonna be fun.
Nah, it's gonna be fine. But I could easily miss 2 jobbers smacking the shit out of each other. The Tony Nese and anything, and then I'd want to see the FTR match, but that's neither here nor there.
Jeez Louise,
I'm being harsh.
You are being harsh. This Cody match has put you in a bad mood.
I'm in a bad mood because it shook me. Honestly, watching it, and it made me both love and hate Cody at the same time. It did a brilliant job.
Yeah. I will say too, I haven't talked to you about this yet, so now seems like a good time. We may not do the weekly wrestle at the normal time this weekend if we're able to, because I have to go to Dallas. I'm going to Dallas this weekend with John Buseman to go see GCW.
That's pretty cool. We're gonna
the show's at 4:00.
You're gonna have to get Buseman on the show as a guest review.
I think so.
We're gonna have to get Buseman on, and also Nick Saber, international Nick Saber. We're gonna get international Nick Saber of the East Coast. The East Coast. I think he's the junior heavyweight champion for IWF in West Patterson, New Jersey.
Right now?
No, he's former. He's former junior heavyweight champion. But thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the night, and
go watch some Bret Hart matches.
Go watch Bret Hart get tackled at the Hall of Fame.
Don't go. Actually, go watch that, but watch this very specific angle that someone tweeted out, because you can see wrestlers dragging the guy away, and Cash Wheeler of FTR just punches the guy right in the face.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Just
knocks him the fuck out. It's great.
Watch. I watched recently on YouTube when fans attack wrestlers, and the Bryan Hildebrand just kicking a guy right in the face.
Destroys him.
You gotta see it. Thank you all so much. And Mark Curtis, check out Mark Curtis Kicks Fan. You'll love it. Have a great night, everyone. Everyone have a great night. Have a good day. This is Red and Roy saying bye. Loser Leaves Wrestling. Follow our podcast and things.
I'm
gonna give you a countdown. I'm gonna give you a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End the show.
Ole. 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 Ole.